Hey now, 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 hey now. Welcome to our number 4 of the Line Talk 99.5 and Talk995.com. I really should have gone to pee during that break, but I did not. And now I have to hold it for 10 more minutes. Not good, not good. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for the warm welcome back. I have felt loved and appreciated and everything else. Thank you to those of you who are watching us on YouTube. We got a brand new fancy camera stand in here to make sure our cameras stay in place. Much better than what we had. But it all looks good. And Carrie, you're doing a good job over there controlling it.
Thank you so much.
You're doing a phenomenal job there, buddy.
It's tough to remember to mash that button.
Yeah, well, you're the best button smasher I've seen all day.
Thank you, man. Means a lot.
I will tell you that. I want to just real quick, I'm going to get back into what we might find out after handling Maduro. But I saw a great analogy as to how this world order plays out. And it plays out in the sense of tiers. For instance, you've got tier 1 countries, you've got tier 2 countries, you've got tier 3 countries. The tier 1 countries consist of 3 countries only. And that is the US, Russia, and China. These are real countries. And the only 3 tier 1 real countries that are out there, right? You've got tier 2, which consists of several different countries. For one example is Saudi Arabia. All right. When it comes to tier 1 countries, they get to decide what they want to do, right? Whether that's by force or whatever, tier 1 countries do what they want to do. Tier 2 countries don't necessarily get to do what they want to do, but they do get to decide which tier 1 country they align with. For instance, if the Saudis want to be friends with the Chinese or the Russians or the U.S., they can decide that. Other countries can do that as well. But they're not tier 1. They're not a country where they're looking around to see who wants to team up with them. They got to team up. In tier 1, these are countries that can defend their sovereign interest no matter what comes at them. Tier 2 decides which of those countries that have every ability to defend themselves they want to team up with. And not to say those countries can't defend themselves, but they can't really do it on their own. And then there's tier 3. Tier 3 countries are what we call ish-hole countries, okay? And they get to decide on nothing at all. They don't have the military might. They don't have the ability. They don't even have the ability to decide who to team up with. Countries like that, countries in the tier 3 category, are countries like Venezuela. And Venezuela, which was once a very prosperous country, a very rich country, has been ruined, is in shambles. And their people are suffering. But they're still a tier 3 country. And most people know that. But the people of Venezuela know that. And they understand that they're not going to be able to get back on their feet on their own. They just can't do it. And so we end up, over the past few days, with images of Venezuelan people in the streets celebrating the kidnapping, the disappearing of their president, Nicolas Maduro. Because for them, it's a sign that their country can start operating somewhat normally. That maybe, just maybe, they can have a chance of a shot at prosperity or living a good life or making their own decisions. That has not been the case in Venezuela. And a lot of people don't even know what that's like. I don't even think Maduro knows what it's like. When he was in court and he was getting all antsy and hostile, when the judge informed him that he had the right to counsel and he had the right to apply for bail, he was almost shocked by that. When the judge informed Maduro of his rights as a defendant in the court reporter said Maduro was taken aback because he's not from a part of the world where defendants are given any sort of rights. When you get arrested and you get charged in Venezuela, there is no bail. There is no ability to leave the courtroom and go home and then show back up on your court date. He didn't even realize that was a thing because it's a tier 3 country. Ishhole, if you will. The people of Venezuela are tired of being in an ishhole. They are. But it's just the bottom line. This is one fascinating aspect to this is the Democrats who have been flipping out over this action taken are the same Democrats that were telling you over and over when it comes to the issue of illegal immigration, Kamala Harris in particular, that instead of closing off the border, instead of building a border wall, instead of vetting people that are coming through the border by the millions, that the way to tackle illegal immigration was to look at the root causes, to look into the countries and see why it is those immigrants are fleeing their own homes. The argument was made, well, they don't want to leave their home country. They love their home country. So what is it that causes them? This is the Democrat talking points. What is it that causes them to want to leave their country and come to our country? Of course, it wasn't the massive amount of welfare fraud or the ability to come across the border and get everything you could ever want and not have to work and scam the system. No, it wasn't all that. What was it? Democrats never gave you an answer to that. But they said that was the tactic at play. That's what needed to happen. Find the root causes. Well, in Venezuela, where millions have been displaced, millions of people have fled that country, more so than any country, we actually went and tackled the root cause, which was Nicolas Maduro's reign. And now all of a sudden, Venezuelans aren't as apt to leave their homes because they think that there's a brighter future ahead. And is there a brighter future ahead? I don't know. Maybe. I hope for them. But of course, maybe not. Maybe they go back to the ishhole policies. Delcy Rodriguez, who's been sworn in as Venezuela's acting president by their Supreme Court, the vice president of Maduro, seems to allude to keeping up with Maduro's policies and not changing a thing, but we'll see how that plays out for her. But it's important to understand at a 3,000-foot view as to what is at play here and where everybody's place is. What tier country any particular place, any particular country is in. If you're tier 3, you don't get to decide on a whole lot of anything. Because decisions are made across the world not by international laws, not by not by norms or even, you know, founding documents. Because Russia doesn't care about our Constitution. North Korea doesn't care about our Constitution or whoever. They don't. The way the world stage works and the way things get done on the world stage is by force. And in order to do anything by force, you have to be a tier 1 country. And there's only 3 of them. So that's what all this looks like on a world stage. But I go back to my previous thought, which was, what can we learn from this new found interest in Venezuela? Are we going to find out that many Democrats had been receiving money from the cartels? And no, that doesn't mean, El Chapo was having a meeting in Nancy Pelosi's office and handing her a stack of cash. No, this goes through many different people to make its way to Washington, D.C. But can we get some answers to that? Get to the bottom of that, because all of our guts tell us that this is, in fact, the case. The other thing, possibly even as important, if not more important, as something that we've been talking about and the president has been bringing up in the lead up to this, and don't discount the reason he's been bringing this up as of late, the stolen 2020 election and the role that Venezuela and other countries played in that stolen election. What do you remember about the stolen elections? A lot of things, a lot of people get most of the limelight, your Ruby Freemans, your water main breaks in Atlanta, your ballot stuffing in the middle of the night in Detroit, the drop-off boxes, the Stacey Abrams NGOs, the ballot harvesters. All of that gets a lot of attention when it comes to who stole the election in 2020. But let's not forget the enormous role played by voting machines from Smartmatic and Dominion. And where do those voting machines come from? Where are their countries of origin? None other than Venezuela. And as I was talking about Mike Lindell earlier, having this opening to run for governor of Minnesota, now that Tampon Tim has announced he's out, Sidney Powell is another individual that was completely railroaded by the media and politicians for simply standing up and stating the obvious when it came to the 2020 election. She was designated as the person that was to look into the voting machines themselves. Voting machines that media outlets past and politicians past on the Democrat side had often criticized and said, hey, these Dominion machines, they come from Venezuela. They're not safe. They can be tampered with. They can swing elections. It was talked about all the time. And then 2020 happens, and guess what? If you talked about Dominion voting machines, well, you deserve to be in jail. If you're lucky, you'll just get put in Facebook jail, but you might get put in real jail. Because you can't say that the voting machines were tampering with vote tabulations on election night. Can't say that. Not allowed. Even though all the evidence points to that direction, you're not allowed to say those kind of things. So my question is this. Was Donald Trump posting things about the 2020 election in previous days and past weeks? Has he been posting stuff and bringing up the 2020 election because he knows that there's valuable information inside of Venezuela that could bring out the truth of what happened in 2020? Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe that's crazy, whatever, QAnon talk or something. But there is no doubt that Venezuela played a role in what we saw in the 2020 election with Dominion and Smartmatic. And the fact that we could possibly get some answers out of that excites you, boy, a whole lot. Earnest Financial, retirewithernest.com. Retirewithernest.com. New year, new you. Make sure you get your finances in order. Contact Earnest Financial to get yourself set up for retirement. If you're 55 or older and you got over 50K in your retirement, now is the time. You heard me talk about this all last year, but it's 2026, man. Time is a ticking. And if you want to keep your retirement protected, this is the way to do it. David Ernest, who's a super good dude, friend of mine, he's been with this show since the beginning, and I've watched what he's done for so many of our listeners in making sure that their retirement is intact, in place, and growing for them to where when retirement comes, they got it good, man. You got it good. You're going to be able to enjoy retirement, not have to stress about anything, not even have to stress about it in the lead up to retirement. They know all the places to put your money and get you set up for success. You just have to call them. And remember, this doesn't cost you anything. You just call them, you're on the phone with them for a little bit, and let them figure it out for you. 205, I'm sorry, not 205. Let's go 833-596-7233. It's 833-596-7233. retirewithernest.com. So let's go back to 2020. In the wake of the 2020 election, when the people from the Trump camp were scrambling around trying to find answers as to what happened because we didn't really understand it. We knew some shady things went on, but we didn't understand fully what had happened. And as time went on, people started dropping off. People started flaking out because, whether they were threatened or whatever, they were like, wow, I don't know. Trump keeps saying an election was stolen, but we can't prove it and blah, blah, blah. All the while, more whistleblowers were showing up day after day after day. But the few people, and I remember this and thinking how crazy of a scene this was. You had Mike Lindell, you had Rudy Giuliani, you had Jenna Ellis, and you had Sidney Powell were some of the only people that were by Donald Trump's side in the wake of that. Sidney Powell, who ultimately got sued and I think faced legal charges, went on Fox News, and Fox News would never talk about this today, but went on Fox News and talked about the Venezuelan military intelligence whistleblower confirming the CIA was outsourcing election rigging technology like Smartmatic and Dominion from Venezuela in order to steal these elections. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She lays it out perfectly, and you can almost guarantee yourself that that is how this played out. Dominion Smartmatic voting machines were created for rigging elections for Hugo Chavez and then were exported all over the world, shopped out to people all over the world. You see stolen elections in other countries all the time, and you're like, man, whatever. They're using these systems. And then in this country, all they had to do, Dominion and Smartmatic, is go to corrupt governors and say, hey, we'll pad your pockets if you'll use our voting machines. Little pay for play, it's in there, baby. That easy. That's what happened. 205-545-9950. 545-9950. Who do we got for you? Let me see here. How about Underdog Fantasy? Yeah, because I love me some Underdog. Underdog Fantasy. Have y'all downloaded the app yet? Have you? If you haven't, what's the holdup? You're going to download it. You're going to use my promo code HeyNow, all one word, HEYNOW. How cool is that I have my own promo code? HeyNow, and you're going to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Can't beat that, man. Football playoffs are here, and Underdog's the best place to get in on all the action, whether it's college playoffs or NFL playoffs. You can make entries and win money right now in Alabama, 100% legal. Just choose if your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code HeyNow to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code HeyNow. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 19 or older and present in Alabama. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. That's right. Y'all ever watch? Have you ever seen this Damian Darling guy on Facebook Reels or TikTok?
I don't think so.
He's a black guy from Columbus, Ohio, and he goes into stores and stuff and just gives people money. Like, he comes up to them and acts real awkward and stuff, and then he'll try to, like, give them money.
And half of them don't take it.
Yeah, some people get sideways. He gives away a lot of money, though, and he's like, "How you doing, bub?" You know, he's just, like, this real weird, awkward. He's like, "You ever gotten money from a brother before?"
I haven't seen it, but I'm sure I will now.
He's going to be at the Stardome. I guess I'm going to give him some free publicity. He's going to be at the Stardome on January 15th. So, Damian Darling. I might see if he wants to call the show. I think he's funny. But I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be in town for that. So I'm not going to. I would actually, if I was going to be in town, I would go to it. Because I don't know how his stand-up is, but I think his videos are. There's a fine line between videos being entertaining and then you just being locked into videos because it's awkward. There's another one called, what's it called? It's called Awkward Kindness or Weird It's called something, and it's a guy who orders a DoorDash, and the DoorDasher gets there and he starts harassing him. He's like, "Are you double dashing me?" And the DoorDasher's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I always get double dashed. Why are you double dashing me?"
Why are you single dashing?
And then he'll grab the food from him and he'll just drop it and kick it across the yard. He'll take the drink and pour it down his pants. And the DoorDash driver's like,
what in
terrified.
the hell?
And then he'll go around and start showing him stuff around the yard, and he'll start handing him like wads of cash. And then next thing you know, the DoorDash driver's leaving with like $400, you know?
That's people.
It's weird.
What they do for views, man.
I know, man. I want to know how they get all that money that they can just give it away like that. They must be generating good money on social media.
I guess so.
So
I would find something else to do.
Yeah, I could probably find some other things to do with that money, but, to each its own. I'd rather spend my money on Underdog. That's what I'd do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 2026, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Wheel of Segments. Yeah.
Wear your clothes.
Where your clothes at?
Where your clothes at?
Here comes,
Boogie that, boogie that.
there goes,
Boogie that, boogie that.
and he ain't wearing no clothes.
Oh, yes, they call him the street. Mm-hmm.
Look at that,
Fastest thing on two. Where your clothes at?
look at that, look at that.
He's just as proud as he can be. His anatomy, he gonna I also saw on Reels yesterday, it was a commercial that was done by, what's the guy's name? Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest whatever. What was his last name? That wasn't Ernest T. Bass, was it?
No.
That was from Andy Griffin,
Yeah.
right? Ernest, crap, what was his name?
I have to Google
His
it.
real name was Vern something, but his character was Ernest.
You used to always have a friend named Vern, right? What up, Vern?
Yeah. God, what
Let's
was it?
see.
Anyway, you know the Ernest I'm talking about. So I caught a video, and he was doing a commercial for like James Spann or something. And James Spann, I guess James Spann had posted it. He's like, "Hey, well, you seen that forecast from James Spann?" Somebody in the audience knows his last name. I can't get to the. Maybe I should just Google it. Ernest. Let's say Ernest goes to camp. Jim Varney was his name. But what was it? What was his last name on the show? Ernest. Somebody tell me. Ernest P. Worrell. That sounds right. Ernest P. Worrell. Yeah, that was crazy stuff back in the day. Stuff we used to watch, man. All right, I'm way behind. Let's go. You ready, Carrie? Up first. Naked Florida man accused of robbing meat market. Only wearing a mask left behind a trail of clothing. According to the Lake City Police Department, officers were called to the BJ's Meat Market.
This is real?
This is real. Naked man at BJ's Meat Market on Main Boulevard shortly before 9 p.m. on December 23rd. Employees told detectives that a suspect was completely nude except for a face covering. Police reviewed the surveillance and said that Kobe Watkins left a trail of clothing and other evidence along his route of travel. Maybe he just misunderstood the name of the store.
Where did he hide the meat?
Where's the meat? At BJ's Meat Market. Watkins was taken for a medical evaluation before being booked into the Columbia County Detention Center. He's being charged with robbery with a weapon. What was the weapon? Exposure of sexual organs, grand theft, and criminal mischief.
Grand theft.
Yeah. I want to know what the weapon was.
Probably
Probably a club.
Yeah, I would say a club.
Probably like a big black club,
big stick,
big stick.
log or something.
Yeah. You know what they say? They said, what did they say, actually? Can't walk lightly and carry a big stick.
That's right.
Yep, that's what he was doing at BJ's Meat Market. Up next, surgeon who stripped naked in cubicle struck off.
Come again?
Struck off. Surgeon who stripped naked in a cubicle struck off. This is from the BBC, so I think struck off is like not what we're thinking. I think it's probably like meant he got fired. A surgeon found to have stripped naked in a toilet cubicle and inferred to a colleague that they have sex in it has been struck off the medical register. Okay, that makes more sense. Dr. Samuel Stefan was working at the Queen Alexandra Hospital in Portsmouth when the junior colleague who had been chatting with him online organized to meet him in the toilets at the hospital. When they say toilets, they just mean the bathroom.
The loo.
The loo. The man said he had organized to meet there as a mutually convenient place, had not planned to have sex with him, and the panel heard he was left, quote, shocked, numb, and scared. Oh, so this is male on male, by the way.
Shock, numb, and scared.
It was told Dr. Stefan had not apologized to the man or to two others he was found to have sexually harassed. He was not represented at the hearing last month and did not attend himself. Dr. Stefan, a colorectal surgeon. Okay.
Gets even worse.
There it is. You mean to tell me the colorectal surgeon is trying to meet dudes in the bathroom? We get it.
I mean, if somebody says, hey, Andrew, let's have a meeting. You want to meet in the bathroom? And you go, then you get what you deserve.
Well, if it's a colorectal doctor, absolutely. Dr. Stefan, a colorectal surgeon, I bet he's a surgeon, was also found to have tried to kiss another colleague and expose himself to him. The Medical Practitioners Tribunal Service panel also found he repeatedly tried to touch the thigh and the peen of a third colleague while they worked on the hospital's wards. Quote, his conduct had been sexually harassing towards the men and represented a serious breach of this expected standard. The first man reported the allegations to the police, but the second and third men affected had not reported theirs because of their embarrassment. It was told it had found him liable for very serious misconduct. So you didn't report it, and now there's a radio station in Alabama talking about it because you didn't want to get embarrassed by it. Well, at least we're not saying their names. The panel concluded that Dr. Stefan would immediately would be immediately erased from the medical register following the hearing. No more colorectal fun time for him.
I mean,
Your colorectal days are over, buddy.
there's a pretty easy way to take care of that.
Yeah, just
Whoop his ass.
yeah, you could do that, but they're in the UK. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
just going to slap him on the wrist, on the limp wrist of his. Just psh.
Nah, he'll move over here now.
Yeah, he
Go
will.
work it.
Oh, there's plenty of people that'll meet a colorectal doctor in a bathroom here.
He'll be at New York City University
Yeah, San Francisco.
Hospital.
San Francisco City Hospital.
Chief of Staff.
His staff, all right.
Chief of Staff.
Come see the chief staff in the toilet cubicle.
I thought you never asked.
And last but not least, this headline says, I have the world's smallest peen.
Story about you, eh?
Yeah, well, somebody's going to pull that clip and run that. That's going to be on the next promo. I have the world's smallest peen. Here's how it impacts dating and sex. In case anybody wanted to know. If you feel like you're in this boat, this is a story for you to help you feel better. A North Carolina man with the world's smallest peen has revealed some of the biggest problems he faces being not so well endowed, including maintaining a sexual relationship. He spilled the beans on his wee willy issues in a resurfaced interview with IGV official that's gone viral. He said, quote, I'm still not sure that I have fully come to terms with having a micropene. It's called the micropene. Michael Phillips, 36 years old. He told the outlet his miniature manhood measures just under 1 inch, putting him well within the threshold for a rare medical condition called a micropene. 1 inch. And it's rare. I mean, that's the good news, that it's rare. Oh, this guy's wearing a mask in most of his pictures. I could have guessed that. Yeah, it's no surprise here. You wearing a mask, there's a high possibility of a micropene. The affliction is defined as an atypically small peen measuring, I'm saying peen because I don't want to say the other word too many times. A typically small peen measuring 3.67 inches or less that's discovered in infancy or early childhood, according to the Cleveland Clinic. That's how they define it. Affecting just 0.6% of the global population, the condition is usually the result of a fetal testosterone deficiency. As a child, Phillips initially thought he was just smaller than average and hoped that he was simply a late bloomer whose manhood would eventually catch up to him. That day never came, and the Southerner has faced a host of issues due to his fun-sized phallus. The biggest challenges I faced are having a sexual relationship and still being a virgin and being able to talk about it openly because of how embarrassing of a topic it is. He recounted the one mortifying incident in high school in which a girl saw his tiny tallywhacker and laughed at him, putting him off pursuing dating and relationships for a long time. He said, I've had a couple of experiences having relations and wasn't able to. He's getting a little detailed there, Michael. That's enough for that.
When in doubt, go public that you have a micropenis.
yeah. If you think you're struggling now, why don't you just tell everybody about it?
Here's my picture.
And that's what we call Wear Your Clothes Are.
He's just in the mood to ride in the new.
Oh, yes, they call him the street.
Boy, we came in hot on that first Wheel of Segments of the year, didn't we? I hope I didn't set the bar too high. That is not good. Really, really setting the bar high. All right, Noto Roofing, NOTOroofing.com, NOTOroofing.com. My roofing guys, Chris and Sammy and everybody over there at Noto Roofing, just best of the best. I don't have to tell you all that. Y'all know because I tell you every single day how great and wonderful these guys are. They just do a phenomenal job taking care of people. Because my priority is you guys. My priority is to make sure if you have Noto come out there and work on your roof, or you just get the free roof inspection, that you're taken care of. That is my priority. And knowing the guys at Noto like I do, I'm confident that they will, in fact, do that. If you end up having problems, you get your roof inspected, and they find out there's something going on. They help you file the insurance claim and everything else. They get the job done quickly, efficiently. They get it done. They get it done right the first time. They clean up after themselves. It's just a great overall experience. But the first step is to get that inspection. So call them up, mention Andrew McLean, say, I hear about you on the line all the time. Wanted to see if I could set up a roof inspection in this new year. 205-848-2299. That's 205-848-2299. And online, notoroofing.com. You know how some songs just put you in a good mood? I think Alice in Chains always does that for me.
Yeah, they're one of my top favorites.
I'll stay away. Hey, yeah. Good one, man. Good stuff. Again, thank y'all for being so thoughtful and wonderful and nice to me. I feel like I was kind of, I don't know. Everybody had been getting sick over the past 2 weeks, and I felt like something had a hold of me and was really dragging me down, and I couldn't get in the groove. But I think we're back on track. I think I'm back in the saddle. I think we're back on track. We're feeling good. We're feeling right, and we got a big year ahead of us. A lot of exciting things coming up right here on Talk 99.5. Including some of the things we've already started, such as our YouTube channel, where you can watch all of the shows. I encourage y'all to watch Leland coming up, Talk 99.5. I'm sorry, Real Talk 99.5 TV on YouTube. Remember, we reset each hour, so you watch an hour at a time. Once it resets, just refresh the page. You'll see the new stream, so on and so forth. Y'all can get it. You're smart people. Y'all can figure it out. APS. Bringing you this portion of the show, Alabama Professional Services, APS. Man, these guys are good at what they do, and they've been doing it for such a long time, since 1977, I think, was the inception of APS. They do a lot of things. One of the big things, and this is what they do at my place and my friends and family, is they do our pest control. They spray for bugs. They get out there, they do the thing, they get it, they get the termite protection handled and everything else. And if you got problem areas, all you got to do is tell them, and they'll get on top of that as well. They do pest removal, all kinds of stuff. If it's pest related, they got you. But also, foundation repair. You've got, cracks in your driveway, basement waterproofing, crawl space encapsulation, all of those things handled by APS. So call them at this number. Let them know I sent you, and they'll get right on top of it. 205-951-9717. That's 205-951-9717. And online, alabamaprofessional.com. Don't forget to tell them that your boy Andrew McLean sent you. All right, I'm out of here. Y'all been awesome. Thank you. Love you long time. Back tomorrow with a brand new episode. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy yourselves. Have a stiff drink. Drink some chicken cock. Until next time. See you, Cole.